Okay.
Okay.
First of all, I'll just kind of go ahead to the first slide. I'll kind of talk about what we're going to do tonight. We really just wanted to, really our part to be pretty quick, just to kind of give some big background, introduce the project. Doug Helt is going to go over some of the design features of the project on this call, just so you guys know who all of us are. I'm Susan Miller, the director of the Tulsa Planning Office. We've got Dennis Whitaker, who has a plaid shirt on, who's waving. He's with the planning office, as well as Peyton Wines, who is our urban design planner. So you'll see some renderings in the presentation that he put together based on like existing, some photos of the existing 36th Street North area, and then what it will look like after the streetscape's installed. We also have Daniel Jeffries, who we've already been talking to. He is, he's a senior planner, does a lot of our communications, or all of our communication stuff, and just other planning initiatives. So that's kind of it for the planning pieces of it. We also have Doug Helt and Anand from, let's see, is that it? From Engineering Services. And then we have Jason Dickman and Jimmy Sitz from Planning Engineering Consultants, who are the consultants on the project. So, and it looks like besides that, we have from the community, we have Justin, Tracy, who I know, those two, and Meredith, who I know now after she was on our 2 o'clock, and then Kristen, who is new, and I haven't met her, so that's good. I think that's it for who is here. I'll go ahead and kind of introduce or kind of give a summary of how we got here and some of the concepts you'll see. So I know that people on this call for sure are familiar with the 36th Street North Small Area Plan, which was adopted in 2013. You know, we had the opportunity in that plan or shortly thereafter to have some funding to implement small area plans that came out of the Improve Our Tulsa funding. So we were able to supplement the street rehab project to something that would help implement the concepts in the small area plan for that corridor. So that's a huge opportunity we have had that we don't typically have. So it's kind of a big deal for us and you as well. So the design started in late 2015, and you know, Planet Tulsa in 2010 talked a lot about complete streets, which really have all those other features along streets that don't just accommodate cars, that accommodate people and activity and things like that. So that was really adopted as part of the comp plan. There was a separate policy supporting that adopted maybe a year later, and that was also part of the concepts that were in the 36th Street North plan. In fact, it specifically mentioned complete streets. So these are the components of complete streets that you'll see today in these plans. You know, 36th Street North, and of course this is the segment from Peoria to MLK. So there's a road diet proposed, 4 lanes to two with a turn lane, some bike lanes, some wider sidewalks, some new crosswalks, a lot of landscaping that provides, of course, beauty to the corridor and as well as shade, bus pull out, and then there's also some parallel parking. So I'm excited for you guys to see what this is going to look like. The construction is to begin this fall and will be finished in about a year. So if you want to go to the next piece. So this is looking east at the Osage Prairie Trail crossing. So this is what it looks like today. And this is a rendering. This is one of the ones that Peyton put together that shows with the installation of the streetscape what it will look like. So you see the bike lanes, the sidewalks, lots of landscaping, landscaped medians. So it's really pretty beautiful. So the next picture is looking east at 36th Street North and North Peoria Avenue. So you'll see, we're all familiar with that corner. And then this is the enhanced version of that, which has the crosswalks, which is huge there. bike lanes, landscaping. So that's an example of what that would look like afterwards. So the plan view, the two plans that we'll have here. So I'm going to turn it over to Doug now to kind of talk about these.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Susan. So this slide is the western half, if you will, of 36th Street North from MLK Jr. Boulevard over to about Hartford Avenue. You can see that we have the medians with the trees in the center of the road. This makes the corridor a controlled corridor so that we don't have as many accesses from the north and south as you would normally have. That slows traffic down and makes for a much more pleasant drive through this parkway / boulevard. So this area here will have wide sidewalks from about Elgin all the way down towards Hartford. Sidewalks in excess of 5 feet, 8 feet in some places. And then if you want to go to the next slide, which is from Hartford Avenue over to Peoria. If you see right there at the Osage Prairie Trail, nobody can see me pointing at my screen, but I am. Right there at the Osage Prairie Trail, that'll be a nice connection point. I think we have a rapid flashing beacon there to make that a very prominent crossing. And then we'll have some on-street parking between the trail and Peoria Avenue, which will be on mostly there on the north side. We did look at some drainage, bioretention scenarios that didn't really fit into the corridor as well as we would have liked them to. One of the things that we didn't mention in the earlier slides was that all of the power poles that are there now, while they're kind of intrusive at the moment, we're going to put LED lights on all of those, and it's going to light up the corridor and be a much more pedestrian friendly area. So there's my minute and 46-second nutshell.
So do you all have any questions, or what would you like to hear from us?
I have a question with regard to this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So I can hear and I can see what's going on. All right.
What?
Okay.
Really?
Yes, this is awesome. Okay, so my question is this: what type of trees?
That's a great question, and I'm just an engineer.
But I'm gonna
so
tell
I
you.
can't answer.
Let me just throw something out right quick right now, okay? I live over here, and we like beautiful things. So some things that I've seen that are beautiful are crepe myrtles, not the pale ones, not the pale colors, but the bright reds, the bright purple, the yellow. So we want it beautiful. So make sure we've got some beautiful colored, sharp, bright colored crepe myrtles, okay?
So I guess, and I'm not a landscape architect, we do have one on the line here, but I don't think, Julie Graff is really the landscape architect on the project from Land Plan, and she is not on the call, but I'm not sure if the tree, they don't really have that level of detail of trees picked out. Is that right, Doug?
We do. We do have specific trees assigned. I could go through the list if you'd like.
That's not gonna really. Do you have crepe myrtles on the list?
I'm not seeing that.
Make sure they're there, please.
Come on, Jason, get the crepe myrtles in there.
So Peyton on the line is our landscape architect, and do you have the list of trees, Peyton, or?
No, I don't pulled up at the moment.
I guess, and I'm not a tree person, but I know is that on our tree list of shade trees?
I can address that a little bit in that.
Okay.
I do know that the crepe myrtles require quite a bit of seasonal maintenance. And so most of the plantings that we're picking are of the lower maintenance version or varieties. So I think that we could look at some applications for them, but those require going out and cutting those things off every spring and fall, and the city just doesn't always have those. That type of maintenance doesn't always come to the top of the list. So it's a bad
Well,
idea to sometimes plant things that we can't maintain.
I hear you and I understand, but get me some crepe myrtles, please.
I have a question. It's Murtis again. Okay, I, again, live on 36th Street North, and I actually viewed this today. On the 4-lane, you have that turning to the right into the subdivisions, and you're moving at 4 miles an hour and you take the right, but now that you're into 2 lanes, you're going to have a lot of rear end accidents. So I don't know where that turning lane is. I don't see it on your diagram, but I saw it in your text on one of your front pages.
So the philosophy here is that you can see if right here where we have the west half, if whoever's driving this can point right there at Elgin, you can see where we have the little bump out area right there, where you can pull in there and wait to turn to the north on Elgin. That's a pull out lane. You have the similar thing over here on Detroit Avenue. We have talked about reducing the speed to 35 miles an hour on this street, plus the narrowed lanes and the landscaping. You can laugh at me on this if you want to, but the philosophy is that by adding all of those things to the driving corridor, it will slow traffic down and therefore reduce all of those accidents that you're thinking about. So there's probably some debate that could happen there in terms of whether that's for real or not, but that is the philosophy.
It is
Okay,
for real.
let me add another philosophy for you. Okay, you're addressing the Detroit and the Elgin, but thinking about the businesses on the other side of the street, the car dealership, little turn-in area, come down a bit further. Right, keep coming right here.
Right over here towards Garrison is where she's talking about.
No, come on.
Just to the west, right there.
There. No. Keep coming. There. Yes.
So both of those. Both of those businesses will have their access reduced from that westbound lane.
And I'm going over to the right, that little gravel road, where your little pointer go. I lost you. Right there I am. I'm right there. So think about saying there's no signs or any, so someone's coming behind me, they have no place to get off other than the opposing way.
Well, I see where you're at. They will have to just wait behind you until you can turn.
I don't think you've ever been on the street.
Well, and so there it is an actual design speed. I mean, that when you drive down streets that have parallel parking and landscaping and landscape medians, just like I live down the street from Brookside, people are not speeding down Brookside. They might in the middle of the night or at times when there's nothing going on there, but I don't know. I've still never even seen that. But so that is a fact, that people drive at the rate that they feel comfortable based on everything that's around them. And narrower streets with medians and landscaping, that does tend to slow drivers down. So I think it'll be a different dynamic. I don't think it'll be people that are speeding down the street, because wide, unobstructed lanes and roads just scream for speeders. And that's just how it works.
But you realize it's coming down a hill. I mean, a hill, okay, you're coming, turn in, and you're coming down a very steep hill. You realize that, right?
You know, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I don't know if it's me. Or is Murtis breaking up, Doug?
Sounds like she's breaking up.
Yeah, Murtis, I think your connection's getting a little weak or
I'm
something.
trying to express you that there's a very hill shooting down. It's very steep. As you're coming and taking a right off of MLK onto 36 North.
That's an incline. Yeah, that will need to be slowed down some kind of way because they're coming down from there.
There is a on the eastbound right there where you're talking about as you're coming down the hill, there'll be a little turnout right there to the east as you turn into North Detroit. So there will be that access there. And that's where cars can pull over. And right now we have it so that you can stack 2 cars in that spot right there, waiting for the turn. So it is very steep right there, but I think we've got the accommodation there. That doesn't mean that it will work every time, 100% of the time, but most of the time you should be okay there.
I mean, also you want traffic to slow down for sure, so that you have crosswalks and hopefully
Right.
increased pedestrian activity and all of that stuff. So that's really all works as a package to help create that environment that was, described in the small area plan.
Okay. I just want to mention something that I saw and that was really horrible. And it was right there. And I'm not good with directions, so I hope I can get this right for you. Like if you're coming, coming down the incline and you were right in front of Northland, those people were having a hard time crossing from Northland to the opposite side of the street because cars were coming much too quickly. So something needs to be done there to slow that down so that they can have easier access. Because what I was seeing, I wanted to jump out of my car and go help these people cross the street. So something has to be done to make it easy for them to cross the street. And this was from Northland going straight across, like to in front of that little store that's on the side over there. Because there was a bus stop there. They were trying to get over there to the bus stop right in front of that little store, which was next to the field, and the field is next to the car lot.
Those Jared's store?
Yes, whatever it is.
Yes. Right there.
Jason, do we still show a bus stop? Are we resetting a bus stop there with a landing, or do we know? I don't know that Transit has told us where they want their stops to be.
I believe we're still keeping that there as the current plan.
Okay. Is there a bus stop directly across it, also across the street on the north side, or at by Northland also?
There was, and down there at the corner of 36th Street North and Hartford, there's a bus stop. But I can't remember if they have gotten rid of the other bus stop going towards MLK on the right side.
Well, we have full crossings, pedestrian crossings going in there at Hartford. I don't think we have a north-south crossing at Garrison planned.
We do not.
You do not.
Yeah, so the intent with, I think, currently there wasn't any sidewalk on the south side through some stretches. So I think the hope
Right.
is that bus stop on the south side of the road, and maybe we have signage or something, but get them to get just that little extra jog down to Hartford and cross a controlled intersection instead of trying to, of course, we know everyone, the quickest way from point A to B is a straight line. So
Right.
it's easier to cross 36th Street if you can, but it's not safe. So
Well, hopefully the wider sidewalks will, as you say, Jason, entice folks to walk down to Hartford, where we're going to have a controlled access.
I live on Garrison. This is Justin. And Garrison has a lot more foot traffic because of Bradford Apartments than Hartford has. So the bus route goes down Hartford. But in terms of foot traffic, I don't think Hartford has much foot traffic. So it actually, would make more sense to have it at Garrison than Hartford, just because of that reason. But
Right.
and you get a lot of foot traffic. The most probably foot traffic in the whole area is probably between Bradford and the corner store there. I also see people going to the Tisdale Clinic, walking down Garrison.
I think you get foot traffic from the Detroit area down to the bus stop down toward the Garrison area. And that's where they're walking from, trying to get to the bus stop, because it's not closer to MLK at all. They're not one.
I think there's at least 2 routes that come through here. I don't know.
I also have a question, when it's relevant, about a bus stop closer to Peoria, and if there's going to be an opportunity to put one where we're building a Crossovers Community Center.
Yeah, that would be great. Then they
We-
could get off right in front of the center.
Right, and that kind of informed our design too, to have like an outside seating area and kind of cover, for folks. So you can see the roof of Crossover Health Services there, next to the Osage Prairie Trail, right to the east of it, and so. That may, now that I've looked at it, we'll need where like Greater Union Baptist entry, and this is something I gave to folks, but there's been a good bit of transition maybe since then, but we definitely need a break in the median that is like right to the east of the community center. Susan, do you guys have if I need to resend you our site plan?
The site plan that recently went through our process,
The IDP process, or
or even I think it was an attachment to your zoning change even, wasn't it? That one?
I'd need to look at it to be totally sure it was the most updated one, but
Okay.
it could be. That's a really critical need for a break in the center median. We've got the school. We'll have 2 schools, an all boys and all girls school, and we're gonna have, I don't know, 1,000 people on site, and getting picked up and everything. So it'll, and as I look at this, over to the, yeah, we definitely need to get some of that synced up because the median further east, we're putting in essentially a loop road to help with that. And it looks like, I'm pretty sure on it, I don't know. I think I've checked this in the past, so maybe, I don't know that it's changed, but these need to get synced up a little bit. No, it's good on the east. I think that's lined up okay. Potentially on the east part of the loop road. But yeah, if you guys don't mind checking that and emailing me, maybe the one you're looking at.
So we have a lot of stuff going on about 36th Street North, but I do think at one point when we kind of got heavily back involved, me and Travis and people on this call, we shared the plans that we knew about along the corridor. Does that sound familiar, or am I thinking about another? Remember that?
Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar. And when it was before all the city planning changes, when we kind of put that in for the drive cut stuff. I remember we gave it to Lewis back then. So
Yeah.
anyway, we just, need to make sure those are lined up because there'll be a lot of traffic in and out, both of them.
Hey, Justin, this is Daniel. If you visit tulsaplanning.org/36SN, there's a button where you can view the plans that were mailed out. So you should be able to zoom in on those and take a closer look if you want.
Are they the same plans that we're looking at right now?
Yes.
Yeah, and just looking at it, it doesn't seem to line up. So that's maybe if I will. If you guys want to shoot me your email, I'll email you the site plan.
Justin, why don't you just send them the ones that you are wanting them to sync up so they'll know exactly what it is.
Right.
Rather than what they're looking at. So they need to see what you have.
Exactly.
To line everything up.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, Justin, what and I hear you, I totally get it, but our concern is that, we think the medians are really important for a lot of reasons, for beautification, to slow traffic. A lot of reasons. And, we've received a few requests. And if we we're able to give everyone their request, then we wouldn't have any medians. So I don't know. We're trying to figure out how to balance all that. And I don't know how we do that. So I just wanted to throw that out there to you because we've told some people, no, not right. We just can't.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's over we've got a long stretch of frontage though. And so we basically just need 2 over our entire, stretch. So it leaves a lot of room for a median. I'm not opposed to the median, but if those brakes aren't lined up, they're gonna, and one of them I think already is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just too many people going in and out that are gonna be pulling U-turns.
So we do need those to link up, and I'm sure he will send you what he has as to what he needs you to look at. This will be schools, and we have to take under great consideration with regards to the safety of the kids and those parents going there. So all stops need to be put in place, put out all stops to make sure that everything links up properly.
Now, will anything have to be rezoned with all of this change or everything?
No.
No, okay. Just
no rezonings.
Okay.
No, this is all on city-owned property or public property.
While we're sitting here waiting, no one's saying anything, The young lady that's on, could you give me a call? Because it sounds like we need to be working together. So let me give you my telephone number, please.
And
Are you ready?
who are you talking to, Tracy?
Who is it? There was someone that said they live near 36th Street North. Was this,
That's me,
did I hear
Murtis.
that or just?
Yes, Murtis,
Yeah,
Murtis Kirk.
Yes, Meredith.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you please take down my number?
I'll be delighted. Yes, ma'am.
Let me know when you're ready.
I am.
918
Yes, ma'am.
706 5633.
And your name again is?
Tracy Chandler, and I'm president of the Phoenix Development Council. It is because of our organization that we have the 36th Street North Corridor Small Area Plan. So since you and I are just conversing, just give me your contact information to your cell number, if you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm ready.
Absolutely. As soon as we complete this call, I'll call you right back.
All right, that sounds good.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm through.
Murtis,
Yeah.
you have the big house in the woods.
Yes, I have the big house in the woods. Yes.
Big house in the woods?
Yes.
Yeah. So I back up.
It's the all you see is the gravel road.
Oh, that house that I looked at for myself that I thought God was going to give me, but he gave it to you
Oh,
instead.
well, he gave it to me, but you know the owner. Yes, but yes. I'm praying for it.
Yeah, Murtis, I have 3 boys, and they used to make trails kind of in the woods, and they saw your house back there, and I think your dogs.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. It's nice. It's nice. It's quiet, and I just don't want to lose that feature with
Yeah.
all of this. So you'll have to understand my concern and my canter. So
Yeah. You've got a pretty good buffer there. I think you're going to be good.
Yeah,
hope so.
you way up there, girl.
yes,
You got a chance
ma'am.
to go
Yeah.
in and look around the house beforehand.
It has its good and bad.
Yeah.
It's hard to cut. Just trust me on that. It's hard to cut grass. But I'm sorry. I digress.
Okay, I guess we're through with the side conversations.
Yes, ma'am.
So moving along.
I can tell you that we are currently on track to advertise this project and hopefully start construction in the fall. I think after this conversation that we can communicate with MTTA and make sure that they feel like they have their bus stops coordinated with our plans as well as possible for now. And then we can also try and accommodate any future adjustments that they might foresee. That hopefully is just a couple of phone calls, and either they want to do something different or they do not. So I do think that's a positive thing that's come out of this meeting, is that I do not think that before this meeting I recognized that there was more foot traffic at Garrison than there was at Hartford.
And it would be to your best interest to stake out for a few days the truck traffic that goes up and down as well.
Mr. Colombia and I were talking about that just after our first meeting today. Yes.
Oh, good. Because they have escorts in front of the big rigs that come down that are super wide. So
I'm almost sure we want them to find a new route.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just bringing it to someone's attention.
Another problem that I have just driving on the streets, these people that cut yards, and they have those trailers on the back or whatever you call them, And they are so wide that they actually come into other people's lanes. So, and we have a lot of people that cut yards over in here.
I believe
Yes.
we're looking at 11-foot lanes on this project adjacent to the inside median and the bike lane. So there's a little bit of wiggle room, if you will,
Okay.
but I agree. I have occasion to pull a trailer, and I know that when we start talking about road diets and narrowing up lanes, that's one of the least friendly things that is to its trailer users. So we are aware of that.
Good.
Okay, while we're still waiting and nobody's talking, we had talked about some money to purchase properties. And we lost a great opportunity to purchase a piece of property right there at the corner of 36th Street North and, what is that, Justin, that I'm missing? It's escaping me right now. Right there in the corner. The property that's the marijuana shop now.
Oh, I don't. Oh, is it like Lansing?
Yes, Lansing. Yes. So had we had the money, we could have purchased that. So now we're stuck with them, which makes 5 within a 2-mile radius in this community.
So that's
So what about that?
So Tracy, this is a little off, and I'm sorry, everybody, but since you went there, so the media contacted me today. I guess they're running stories tonight on that.
Okay.
Just FYI, I don't know. I guess people from the neighborhood called them, so they're.
Yeah, we were upset about it because there were over 500 people that signed a petition, and they walked the streets to get those signatures during a pandemic. And then last year, the Phoenix Development Council had a survey to see what businesses we should be looking to recruit for this area. And we had over 1,000 people to participate. So that's over 1,500, yet they chose to go with those individuals. And like I said, there's already a marijuana dispensary 2 blocks away.
Oh, no.
So I guess you can tell in my voice I'm a little upset.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
That could have been used for an optometrist, you know. But so let's get back to the money. So what monies are available for us to purchase property so we don't lose anything else to junk?
So that's a different conversation. I'm not equipped to have that. I'm not.
Okay.
We have been looking at possible opportunities, but oh my gosh, I'm not even sure we know what our remaining money is. I don't know if Daniel has any general thing to say there, but he might.
I can kind of speak to that. I mean, and Tracy, we had a meeting where they looked at budget items, and I know we were, you know, at first, before they were kind of combining some of the engineering money for redoing the road, the word was that they could only do these streetscaping improvements from Peoria to the Osage Prairie Trail.
Right.
And now they're able to do the whole road. So, and they gave us some budget numbers, but my guess would be there's a lot less for property acquisition as a result. But yeah, I think I guess we would
just let
we
us
would
know
have
what
that
we
question.
have.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we just need to know what we can have so we can start buying properties. Like I said, we don't want to lose available space to things like that.
Any other questions about this plan or any other details here?
Well, you did mention in the other meeting that the funds were between $5 to $6 million to complete this. Is that a true sentence?
That is a true sentence.
Thank you.
And Justin and I had talked to you guys about combining, and Justin, you straighten me out on this, about combining some of what needs to be done here with what the city or the other entities need to do with regards to widening the streets and whatever, to kind of conserve the money. Justin, please speak to that because you are better equipped. Do you remember, Justin?
What do you mean by conserve the money?
Okay, so remember when we were talking about, like with the utilities, do some things with the streets at the same time that the utilities are doing things, so as to conserve money.
Yeah, I do remember that now. I think, yeah, because originally there was a talk of relocating all of the electrical poles and rerouting them kind of behind the properties and off 36th, and then I think, wasn't that like you and I were asking the question, well, how hard would it be to bury them when the whole road's torn up, and is there an opportunity to work with PSO on that? Is that what you're saying?
All I know is that we were trying to coordinate the work so it wouldn't have to be done twice, and that we could like piggyback off of what utilities needed to be done.
So this is Doug, and I can talk about that. As part of this project, we've talked with the PSO utility in particular. So there's two sets of power lines that go through there. There's a distribution line, and then there's some transmission lines. We did look at ways to relocate those off of 36th Street North and put them to the north side of the 36th Street Event Center and the Greater Union Baptist Church. The cost for doing that versus the benefit of losing the power poles was on the order of $2 million to move those poles.
Oh, that's a lot. That's all the money right there.
It was a great idea, but it's just that really
too costly.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think anybody really pushed too hard on, hey, is that the best way to spend the money? So what we have worked with the PSO on are those existing power poles, and we've worked with them and have a plan to install LED lights on those existing poles. There's a number of lights already on the street, and we're going to convert those they're those high pressure sodium lights right now, and they're kind of glow yellow, so we'll get all of those changed to LEDs. It'll brighten it up, and then we're adding, and I'm just pulling a number from my memory. I'm thinking we're adding like 20 lights or something. It's going to light up pretty good, I think, through there. So there is coordination with PSO. It's just there's a significant amount of utility that goes through there, and we couldn't find the right combination to make the bang for the buck work out.
Okay. So does that go to what? Go ahead, Justin.
Oh, do they ever bury the larger transmission lines, or are those always up high?
So in order to bury those, every so often you have to have this, I'm getting out of my lane a little bit here, but you have to have a converter every so often. And the amount of space that takes relative to what we have available in this corridor also does not fit. The rough number for burying PSO lines is $1 million per mile.
Wow.
And they always whenever I ask them about it, they always say, "You bet, we'll be happy to do it." But
Actually, that doesn't
costs
sound
this.
too bad after the $2 million for a quarter mile, the reroute.
Well, yeah, but that reroute included buying property and stringing new overhead lines. So,
Right. But still, it would be more economical to bury in that case.
but then there's still a space requirement that you just don't have here. So we can get power lines buried if that is the plan at the beginning of time. But retrofitting to underground is, I've had this job for 10 years and I don't know that I've seen a successful one yet.
Okay.
It does seem like that. Yeah.
I think we can find a lot of other places to get better odds and more bang
Yeah,
for
we
our
need the
buck
most bang for our buck.
every time. And so I know that's what this team is looking at. Somebody on the call earlier said something about we were only initially doing the Osage Prairie Trail to Peoria section, and now, hey, how did we get all the way through this thing? If you'd like, I can share how we got to there. Two things happened. One, we abandoned the idea of relocating the power poles. And the second thing was we initially had what we called bioretention bioswales, which is where we would intercept stormwater and treat stormwater before we put it into the stormwater system. Those are very interesting and fun elements to put into projects. But as we started trying to make that fit into the project, it just was not working with the topography and the existing systems. So we were forced to abandon that idea also. Then we're looking at the project and we realized that with the elements that we just pulled out, we could expand that median all the way through the corridor and make a real impact to the area instead of just that little quarter mile area. So again, I feel like we evolved into a more bang for the buck scenario.
Okay. Every time, that's what we need.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Having been a part of those conversations the whole time. Yep.
I have another
like-
question, bang the buck. Once you reach the Peoria Street going through toward Lewis, will this project continue with the beautification, or does it just stop right in Peoria? And
It'll just stop right there at Peoria and everybody will go, gosh, why couldn't you have just gone another
what
couple
happened?
hundred?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. What's going to happen?
So, hopefully we'll be able to come in with another project and continue some of that, but I don't know exactly when that is at this point.
I know from the small area plan, it's not a main street there with anticipated shops and housing on both sides. It'll have Comanche Park, that hopefully will be redone well and everything. But on the other side, it'll be the industrial park. So, less
Right.
need for foot traffic in a main street feel and slowing traffic down. And I'm biased about the money being spent over here since I live on Garrison.
Good job.
Okay, so where are we now?
I could keep talking about the glorious
Way,
benefits
but
of
I'm-
concrete.
So sorry. You guys know how to contact me and Doug, I think. So if you have any more questions, let us know.
I do not.
Okay.
There.
Yep. So there's
Oh,
Doug's information, mine.
Doug helped.
That's
I will
Doug, and I'm smiller@incog.org. If you need to contact me.
So
I
we
go to
usually,
Doug to contact you, Susan.
Yeah, so it was smiller@incog.org.
S. Miller. Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
so more than likely, we will have another meeting, maybe even in person by the time fall comes, maybe not. But we'll have another meeting sort of like this before we start with shovels in the ground. So
Okay.
the main focus of this meeting is to get everybody aware of it, make everybody think about it. And if you have some suggestions or cusses or discusses, then we should definitely talk about those further.
Okay. All right. I don't know what happened, but I didn't know about this meeting until Justin mentioned it to me. And
Yeah.
I just happened to,
So
and I didn't get anything in the mail.
So we sent, let me see if so is your address 564 East 39th Street North?
It is.
Yeah, we sent something to that address. So I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I don't either.
I was telling
Yeah.
Justin, we sent in a big envelope, like a legal size envelope or whatever, not just a regular mailing envelope, so that we could catch people's attention.
Yeah, no, I didn't receive anything like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can check with my staff to see if anybody saw it too.
Yeah.
I'll follow up and send the site plan. So I know you guys have the right one, but that's definitely the biggest concern I have out of this is the long-term impact of a bunch of people doing U-turns because of the increased traffic we're going to create. So I will send that.
Okay. Well, thanks, everybody.
All righty.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank